What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about the last book in the Heroes of Olympus series, The Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan. This was the book in the series that I really remembered almost nothing about. I remembered a couple of things. I remembered the nosebleed. I remembered, the new ship that we get at the end. I remembered a couple of little things like here and there. I remember that Raina and Nico were going to get point of views, but the only other thing that I really remembered from it was that I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to. I was a freshman in college. That was a very stressful time for me. And I remember reading it and I remember thinking this just wasn't really what I wanted. So when I was doing this reread, I was interested to see what that was going to be like when I finally got to Blood of Olympus. And I gotta say, I really liked it. I don't remember why I didn't like it, but I really enjoyed this book. I really love that for the final book in the Heroes of Olympus, this is technically putting a cap on Percy Jackson's story as a whole. He is going to appear in Trials of Apollo. He makes an appearance in Magnus Chase, but only briefly. He's only there for a little bit. This is really the end of his journey finally. I thought it was interesting that Rick Riordan decided to not feature his point of view. Him and Annabeth were in it so heavily in the House of Hades that I do like that in this book he gave them a break. We still get a lot of Annabeth, which I really liked. We especially get a lot of Annabeth and Piper, which was so needed, but we finally return to our first three in The Lost Hero. We get a lot of Jason, we got a lot of Leo, and we get a lot of Piper. I remember always thinking that Jason and Piper were the two characters that get the least amount of development. They're the ones where you come off of the series, you don't really get a good vibe from them, you don't really remember a whole lot of them, but I clearly forgot this entire book because they get so much development. I love where Jason's story is taken in this book. I love that, he is going through a lot. He's still going through the fact that he remembers almost none of his Roman life, and he's being thrust, into this Greek camp, and he's relating to this, and he's really feeling this I hate that everybody's being forgotten and I want to do something about it. And by the end of it, I think he comes out a really well-rounded character. And obviously if you've read the Trials of Apollo, you know where that's going to go, but it was really exciting to see that come to a head here in this book. And with Piper as well. When I think back to Lost Hero Piper, she was just somebody who, she used her charm speak to get away with things, and now her charm speak is her speaking the truth. And there's a point in this book where her strength is her emotions, it is her intuition, and it is her gut feeling. And I love that Rick Riordan took this there. And especially he juxtaposes it with Annabeth, because Annabeth is very logical and she's very analytical. Her and Piper get to go on a little side quest together where Piper gets to use, her emotions and her intuition. And that is something that I just love to see. It's very feminine. And Piper was always the character, she's the daughter of Aphrodite, beauty queen, blah, blah, blah. But Rick Riordan really turned that into a strength in this book, and I really, really loved that. It makes me even more sure that I think I want to reread the Trials of Apollo, because I remember her and Jason from those books, but I mostly remember Jason. I don't remember a whole lot from what we get of Piper, so I'm excited to kind of get into that a little bit more, because in this, I really think she came out very well-rounded and very well-developed. But the stars of this book are definitely Raina and Nico. Raina, Nico, and Coach Hedge are on their own quest trying to bring the statue of Athena back to Camp Half-Blood, trying to unite the Roman and Greek camps so, this big huge war doesn't break out and all of that. And we get to learn so much about them. Raina is one of my favorite characters just of all time. She's probably one of my favorite characters that Rick Riordan has developed. A lot of that does come into play with the Trials of Apollo. She's very heavily featured in the Tyrant's Tomb, but I just really, really loved getting to learn more about her. We get to see her dynamics with her sister. We get to see, just how lonely she is and how hard it's been for her. And I just really loved getting to dig more into it because she's such a deep and fascinating character. And then of course with Nico, everybody loves Nico. He's definitely the fandom favorite, and this is his book. We get to learn so much about him, so much about what he's gone through, and I love the ending that we got for him. I definitely think that he as a character could have been one that got really sidelined. I'm so happy he got such an arc. He went back and forth between these two camps. He felt like he didn't have a home, and finally in this book he's starting to realize a lot of things about himself and open up a little bit more, and by the end of it we do see him finally have a home, and I absolutely love that for him. In terms of wrapping up the Heroes of Olympus, I think this book does an amazing job. Like, it really does wrap up everybody's arcs. We do get, you know, like Hazel and Frank are wrapped up in the previous book with Percy and Annabeth. You know, obviously we're still gonna get like hints of them here and there, but they do come to a satisfying conclusion as well. And with Leo, like, there is some things in store for Leo, which, you know, we'll have to find out about that stuff later. But I think that it did a really good job wrapping up all of these heroes' stories. And in terms of like a 10-book arc, I think the ending for Percy was really in the House of Hades. He does, you know, still have some growing to do in this book, but it's not as much. Like, him and Annabeth, you know, it was really their time to shine in the 4th book. So in terms of like a 10-book series, I think where we get with the camps and setting up, you know, where we're moving on from this, like, we do get Easter eggs for Magnus Chase, we do get Easter eggs for Trials of Apollo. Like, it does a really good job of like branching out those points, and I just really loved it. Like, I give this book like a 10 out of 10. It was an A+. I can't believe I remembered not liking this story because I just absolutely adored it. So if you've been reading along with me, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. And so the 5th book, the last book, I believe, in the Trials of Apollo series is coming out September 29th. I have read and done reviews for the Trials of Apollo on this channel. If you are interested in me like redoing those, or if you want to see me reread those, please let me know down in the comments below as well, because I'm thinking about it. I have the time, probably. Those books were a little bit of a struggle for me, but I really love the 3rd and the 4th book. So just let me know if you're interested at all in that. And if you haven't read these books, highly recommend that you do. Percy Jackson is an amazing ride. I love his story. It is so amazing, and it has touched me in ways that like I can't even describe, and it touches so many people all over, all different ages. So it's amazing. Highly recommend. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything I got for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.